Welcome back to the Pull the Chair podcast brought to you by the Grit Network. I am your host, Paris. With me, one of my co hosts, Dylan. Tyler should be in here at some point as he has been I think he's the most excited about this draft. So he
Yeah.
should be in here eventually. But since he's not in here right now, Dylan, how's it going, man?
Oh man, I mean today the news cycle is on fire. My Boston Celtics has been a lot of Giannis talks. Definitely get
Yeah,
into
yeah.
that. Not happy with what I've been seeing, but and also I mean look, tomorrow we're on the eve of the NBA draft. We're looking at one of the most hyped draft classes in recent memory. We have probably four stars in the top four that could go quite literally anywhere in the top four.
Yep.
So I mean there's a lot to look forward this time of year. Even with the NBA finals just ending, we're only just getting started this offseason.
And, all season, funny enough, everybody loves to talk about the season, loves to talk about the playoffs, but the off season, almost for any sport, it almost brings a whole different wave of excitement there. Just people moving, where people are gonna go. Definitely when you have, like you said, when you have a draft class that's this hyped up, and then you have a player like Giannis, is going somewhere, just kind of figuring out what two is gonna happen. And I mean, definitely this Giannis thing, man, it's been going on all year. At the beginning of
Yeah.
the season, it was, are they going to do something? And then you realize that Bucks team wasn't doing anything. So it got to the trade deadline. And you were like, oh, he's going to get moved. And then he didn't get moved. We had a whole drama then. And then he didn't get moved. So now that he didn't get moved, it's restart the drama. And now here we are. And it's funny enough, at the trade deadline, it was the Heat were one of the big teams that are going to trade for him. Now in the offseason, and it's the Heat and the Celtics. So he haven't moved, but
Yeah.
here come the Celtics.
Well, so here's the thing, right? The Milwaukee Bucks are notoriously terrible at trades. We could talk about the Kyle Kuzma trade. We could talk about the Demon Lillard trade. Drew Holiday, how he got traded for a pack of peanuts, which was probably one of their most crucial pieces outside, to be honest.
That really ruined a
They,
lot for them.
oh my God, yeah. I mean, like, look, I know Milwaukee's not the most ideal place where you want to play, but at the same time, when you're trading against yourself, and even the trades you do make, you end up not being optimal. I understand you want to err on the cautious when you have a top five player like Giannis. And Miami Heat, let's be honest, we hear them in trade talks every year for every star. Do they ever land anyone? No, they don't. They're always in the talk. They're the bridesmaid, never the bride. And as a Celtic fan, seeing what's been happening with the trade package about them pretty much mortgaging their future of a Jalen Brown, either Jordan Walsh or Hugo Gonzalez, and two first-round picks, I think that's too much for Giannis. Call me crazy. I would love for you to talk sense to me, Paris. But when I see that trade just for Giannis, I don't think that's enough. I mean, I think that's too much to say for him.
It's well, I almost look at first the Heat and then the Celtics. For one, for the Heat, I don't understand. Obviously, getting Giannis for any team helps, but I don't understand how Giannis makes them a contending team. Granted, yeah, you got Giannis and Bam, center and power forward. You're like, cool, that's a cool duo, but that's it. Like then you and
Hmm.
then you got Tyler Hero.
Well, the
Okay,
heroes would be part of the trade. That's the problem.
yeah,
Hero would be
with
the main
Hero
centerpiece.
and Jacquez, which so you're getting rid of your best guard and your six man, and you're just gonna leave Giannis and Bam to just there you go. Hope that I just
Yeah.
don't. I honestly I feel like that could make the team kind of worse in a way. It just no guard play at all. Just Giannis and Bam bring the ball up, go shoot, go get rebounds. Bam, drop 83 points again, please. Like I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, please. No spacing, mind you. No space. No one
Right.
can shoot threes because you gave up all your three-pointers to Milwaukee.
Your best 3 point should be Bam because Bam can shoot the three better than Giannis can. So, like,
Oh boy. Yeah.
I don't see. It's like they see Giannis and it's like the idea of them. They know that it's possible they could get Giannis. So like, yes, let's get Giannis. But then it's like, okay, then what? And then like, what do? So you have no guard. You'll lose your six man. I've also a lot seen they get rid of Khalil Ware. So then you're also losing your backup center. So you now you have nobody to support Giannis and Bam when they're tired either. So literally, Bam and Giannis are 40 minutes, 82 games. Just go, please win us some games.
Yeah, yeah, no future. And look, I'm all for shitting on Pat Riley, but I understand where he's coming from because a lot of this comes from he doesn't want to bet his future on Giannis when Giannis is getting towards the second half of his career. He's been very injury prone, And again, on top of it all, Bam and Giannis, they're a nice duo technically. Like in theory, they would be a
It
fun
sounds
duo, but
great.
when you have nothing around him, it won't work. Like it just wouldn't work, especially when you're giving up as much. Because
Eh,
again, considering how much the Celtics are giving up, or essentially trying to give up he wouldn't be able to compete unless he want to give up everything.
Yeah, it'd be that team would literally be Giannis, Bam, and Davion Mitchell. That is the Miami Heat you're looking at for next year. It's like,
No thanks.
okay.
No thanks.
Now on the Celtics side, you at least, if the trade goes through, you at least have a better outlook. It's just more of this team that you have has already won a championship. Why break it up? And granted, I can see, you can understand why, to the sense of what Jalen Brown's doing. Jalen Brown basically at this point seems like he wants to be the guy of a team. So if he wants to do that at this point, after having an MVP type season, this is probably the best time to get rid of him. He's at his highest. So in a sense, I can understand you got to get rid of him at the best time. Giannis and Jason Tatum, that again, and technically that sounds pretty nasty because Tatum can do everything, and then it also lets Tatum, because he likes to get in modes of shooting a lot of threes and shoot a lot of mid range. Even if he's doing that, it still works because Giannis can be down low, so that still kind of works. But it is a lot that you're giving up. You're basically saying we're winning. We want to win championships the next 2-3 years, right? Immediately, and then we'll just go from there
Yeah.
because Tatum and Brown are a future. And Hugo Gonzalez is young, Jordan Walsh is young, so it's like you are trading future Celtics for just we want to win right now Celtics. But
See, here's the thing. If Jalen Brown never had a Twitch account, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Because honestly, when we talked about it earlier on the season, when Jalen Brown posted on Twitter, it was a comparison of last year's Celtics to this year's Celtics at around the All-Star break, where the stats were equivalent, if not better. And Jalen Brown, again, he's always felt slighted. People have always, I mean, again, Tatum and Brown have both been slandered, but Brown has always been the shadow of Jason Tatum. And then you come fresh off of a 3-1 choke. The day after the game 7, you go on to Twitch and you're like, chat, this is our best year. This is my favorite year I've ever had. Again, he doesn't recognize that he won a championship, won the Finals MVP, won the Eastern Conference MVP, was the most important person outside of Jason Tatum on that squad. He said, "Me being the number one was the most fun I've had in my NBA career." And then I don't know if you saw this, but apparently a day or two ago he went on a different stream. I haven't seen the context, so I haven't seen the full thing, but the clip that I saw in particular is him in a Chinese rice farm hat saying how if China gives him a $400 million deal, he'll go play in China. So if you want to talk about optics, he's having the worst optics possible, and he's doing this as a way for him to go on a new team. And look, if you want to go and play in Milwaukee and be a play-in tournament guy and still get your 30 points per game, I guess, dude. But the thing that I hate the most about this is that Giannis is past his 30, the 31, about to be 32 this upcoming year in December. Jalen Brown isn't even 30. He's about to turn 30 this upcoming calendar year. So the ages kind of match up, but Jalen Brown is so durable. He's in the peak of his career. And Giannis does not have a type of game that ages well. So
right,
yeah,
yeah,
you're on the nose where it's like with Giannis, you only have a 2 to 3 year window, and Giannis did say he would re-sign with the Celtics, but even then, is 36-year-old Giannis gonna be as good as Giannis right now? Most likely not.
no,
So now you're gonna give up 2 first-round picks. You're gonna give up one of our. I mean, if Hugo Gonzalez goes, he was promising this year. Again, rookie, super young, fresh off of European play. He's promising. So you're giving up the
mhm,
future for someone that you may have 2 or 3 years of a prime in. And again, with Celtics and Celtics fans, it's championship or bust every year, no matter what. I was seeing Celtics fans pissed off that we didn't go far enough in this year, despite Tatum coming off of Achilles rupture and coming back at the end of the year. Celtics fans were still disappointed when this was a gap year. So no matter what, expectations are high. So Brad
yeah.
Stevens, if you trade Jalen Brown in the future of Giannis and this doesn't work, your days are numbered in Boston. Your days are numbered. You cannot tank the Boston Celtics future, which, I mean, again, bad optics, but it seems like this Jalen Brown thing is done. Yeah, from what I've
Mhm.
heard, even if the Giannis trade doesn't go through, Jalen Brown's going somewhere this year, this offseason.
And then that, funny enough, and it is something I don't think anybody, I don't think I would have ever thought of someone saying they need to go talk to somebody. But funny enough, Jalen Brown needs to go talk to Kyrie Irving because Kyrie did this exact same thing at this point of his career, being with LeBron and then leaving LeBron. And then what has he said about it? That he was immature for doing that. He said it himself that if him nowadays, he wish he never did that because that was a very immature thing to do because he could have won so much more being on that team than doing what he did. And that's exactly what Jalen Brown's doing at this point. They've won a championship. He's shown he can be the guy. Well, that's great. He is a star. He's a superstar player. But you have two of them. Y'all could work perfectly. But now he wants to be the guy. So he'd rather go be the guy and then have a Kyrie type of career where, like, again, Kyrie, people love Kyrie, but he hasn't been able to do anything since he left the Cavs, and he's been bouncing around. That's exactly what you could see from Jalen Brown. And Kyrie has already admitted himself that that was a very immature thing to do. Jalen Brown kind of needs to listen to that because this is a very mature thing to do. Talk about some, I want to be the guy now. We know you're a guy. You're great. You just have two of them. Be a team.
So, see, here's the thing. I wonder what the conversations were behind closed doors because, again, Jalen Brown's a very smart dude. He's arguably one of the smartest dudes. He's a very charitable guy. He's nothing but a great guy. I love Jalen Brown. I don't want him to leave Boston. Many Celtics fans are saying, get rid of Jalen Brown. He doesn't want to be on this team. He just cares more about himself. And I understand to a certain point where you kind of have this what if thing because he's always been the shadow of Jason Tatum. In my mind, how I played it, Jason Tatum was the face of the team, and Jalen Brown was like the stoic 1B. He always seemed like the quiet, stoic guy that seemed like he was more of a team player than a person player. And seeing how he's acted this offseason from the jump, I mean, it really makes me change how I look at these past 2 years, 3 years since the championship because it's always been your turn, my turn with how Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown have played. And I've
Mm,
noticed as time has gone on how I complain about the amount of shot chucks that this team does and the lack of ball movement. It starts with Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown. And not often do they pass to each other. I've made these jokes with my dad when we're watching games where it's like, it's almost like they play independently of each other and they don't
yeah.
flow like they did. Like in that finals run when you had Drew Holiday, when you had Kristaps Porzingis, that ball was humming. That ball was moving all around the court to get the right guy. These past couple years, it was never the right shot. It was always like, okay, we can get ahead, and then if things get bad, we're just gonna shoot up whatever we can. So it's very possible Jalen Brown said what he said, and again, he's an unapologetic dude. I mean, he did kind of did the if it was up to me, I'd be with the Celtics. That was a crock of shit. Kyrie Irving said the same thing, and he was gone the next year. So, you know, I do think Jalen Brown wants to be the guy. And look, if you want to lead a Milwaukee Bucks team to a play-in and maybe make the playoffs and get knocked out in the first round, go right
By
ahead,
the
man.
Celtics.
Go, yeah, go enjoy playing a Ryan Rollins and Brooke Lopez's carcass all you want. But
Miles
like
Turner.
Miles Turner, man, if you want to go play a Miles Turner and see that how a fake center plays, go ahead, man. But like you don't realize how good you have it here with a star like Tatum. And I mean, look, if it's really his prerogative to want to be his own guy, it is what it is, man. I just bought a Jalen Brown jersey 2 months ago, and I'm already like, wow, this jersey is a waste. And now it's a retro jersey, pretty much. 'Cause, I mean, again, he's a finals play, he's
No
a
waste.
finals MVP. He won a championship. He's a Celtics legend forever. But like, I can't wear that Jalen Brown jersey for like 5 years or so when he's like at the end of his career. So I can be like, oh, remember the good old days when we won one with him? Like, I can't wear a Jalen Brown jersey outside after the trade. I'm gonna get heckled. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, it's just very frustrating with him. But hey, man, if
So
you want to go be a playing leader, go ahead, man.
then I guess it comes to this because obviously with Jalen Brown doing all this, it honestly kind of forces Brad Stevens' hands to trade him. Like if he's doing all this, he wants to be on his own. It will all kind of hurt the team even more to keep him because like okay, this dude even want to be on the team anymore. You obviously don't like the whole package for this. So if you had to trade Jaylen Brown, what would you want it to be for? Like even obviously even if you were to trade it for Giannis, either one, what would you change it, or two, who would you rather have? Like what would you rather have to trade instead of what it's looking like it's gonna be?
So if it's just for Giannis, Jalen Brown and Giannis already have similar contracts. So the contract issue would not be a problem. Two first round picks, I draw the line. If you really want this year's draft pick, go right ahead, man. It's already a late first round pick. And then it's like one of those things where it's like either we keep Hugo and you get two first round picks, or we add Hugo and you only get one pick. I think, because again,
Okay.
Hugo was last year's first round pick. So
Right.
essentially you're trading three first round picks for
Yeah,
Giannis.
to be honest.
And look, if we're talking about 2021 Giannis, 2022 Giannis,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, man. Yes, you're worth multiple first round picks. We just saw Mikal Bridges go for like 8 picks. So, like, I mean, like, again,
That's
Giannis is
true.
still viewed as one of the best players in the league, but when he's just not available and he has injury problems. He's not there for the full season. I just can't wrap my head around giving up the future because now if I'm Jason Tatum, I'm like, if this Giannis thing doesn't work out, why would I want to stay with the Celtics after my contract is up? Now that ends up being a
Yeah.
thing where is JT really about being a for lifer with Boston or will he move on? Because I could see a JT JV marriage where if they both worked in harmony, they play their careers down Celtics and live happily ever after. If it's one championship, if it's only one, so be it. You brought one. That's all you could ask for. And again, always competitive, always top seeds, great. But like, I'm sorry, like it's just too much for Giannis at this point of his career. It's just too much.
He is older and he's already showing that he is the age is hitting him. It's already starting to show that health wise the age is hitting him. He's still a great player, but yeah, I mean we're starting to see his body can't take as much. He's getting hurt a little bit quicker, and he's staying hurt longer. Granted, end of the season, you have to hope again more drama of him back and forth. Oh, I want to play, but they don't let me play. Yeah, I didn't let you play. Why would you play? What was the point of you playing at this point? So like,
Yeah.
but like, he was already hurt 2 or 3 times this season, so you're already somewhat getting a banged up Giannis at this point.
And he can't shoot. Like if he developed like a corner three at the very least, or some kind of mid range where he's not forced to run down someone's throat and yam on people, then fine. But he doesn't have the type of game style, like his style of play does not speak for longevity. And he said himself in jest that God gave him many blessings, but a jump shot wasn't one of them. So like even him himself, he admits that he can't shoot for shit. And I'm expected to give Giannis a 4-year deal and have him play through his 36-year-old. Like I'm sorry, it's
And
just
that
not gonna
changes
work.
like your whole play style too. To have somebody like Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown on a team that they can kind of do it all, drive to the rim, shoot. They can shoot mid range, shoot the threes, drive to the rim, and then you get rid of one, and the new one you bring in can only drive to the rim. That
He's a
changes
ball
the.
dominant guy too. He's a
Yep.
ball dominant guy, and nothing has shown that he's willing to be a pick and roll guy. If Giannis turns into a pick and roll guy where Tatum gets the ball, Giannis becomes a pick and roll person,
That'd
that
be
could be
disgusting.
deadly.
That'd be
That would be
disgusting.
deadly. But Giannis hasn't showed the willingness to grow his game beyond dribbling in a straight line and dunking. And he is a solid interior defender. He could block people. So it's like again, he's an elite player. He's been an elite player for years. He'll forever be remembered for that run with the Bucks. Because again, the Bucks would not win a championship if it wasn't for Giannis. They never would have.
Right. Bucks wouldn't.
So,
Bucks would still be just thinking about Oscar Robertson.
but that was 6 years ago, 5, 6 years ago at this point. So we're past that. We're past the prime Giannis. So I don't know, man. It's just like that's all I gotta say about that. I'm beside myself, and it does feel like it's gonna be over one way or another.
Yep.
Just again, you already have a valuable piece. Why trade away your future with that valuable piece?
I understand that, and so that moves us to the next topic, which brings us even closer to the draft. Trey Young, Trey Young and the Washington Wizards. The Wizards have the number one pick, and funny enough, it seems like the Wizards just said you. It hurt what I said when I woke up this morning about what they're gonna do, and said, "Yeah, fuck your idea. We're not doing that. That was a dumb idea." Because I woke up and said that Trey Young, because they all talk was Trey Young was gonna test free agency. I was like, yeah, go test free agency. If I'm the Wizards, I have the number one pick. I'm not re-signing Trey Young when I can just go draft Aaron Peterson at the number one pick. Who really? What can Trey Young do more than Darren Patterson can? I mean, like he can shoot a little bit more consistent three. That's about it. Aaron Peterson is more athletic. He can shoot. He can play better defense. The heart is a little questionable, but we'll see how. It doesn't seem like any NBA teams are really worried about that. So, and the big thing, money. If you draft this guy with the number one pick, you have him for a guaranteed 4 years, only paying him about like $15 million a year. But now they re-signed Trey Young, and they're paying Trey Young $53 million a year for the next 4 years. Again, for a player that's I don't even think as good as the guy they could have got. I just don't. I don't see the obviously the logic is they want AJ. That's obviously what they're doing. The plan is they had them one pick, they're getting AJ. That was set in stone. I just felt like they could have got Darren Peterson and been perfectly fine with and just moved on without Trey Young. Who needs Trey? We see what Trey Young's gonna do. It's not good enough.
I mean, look, the Wizards are not known for making good decisions. We've seen them sign Kyle Kuzma to a hefty contract. We've seen the
Hey, he
Bradley
might be a
Beal.
Boston Celtic. He might be a Boston Celtic.
Paris, please. We just moved on from this. Please. But, but but then also we had the Bradley Beal albatross contract. It was like a similar $200-ish million no trade clause, and Bradley Beal decided he just doesn't want to play basketball anymore. He'll collect the checks, but he doesn't want to play basketball. He'll just get hurt, miss the year, and be like, I'll just collect it. And again, all this money is guaranteed. It's not like the NFL. All this money is guaranteed. Collecting $50 million essentially a year sitting on the couch. While Trey Young, he got traded at the deadline. He didn't even get to play. He just sat out the year. So again, talk about bad decision making. You don't even get to see what Trey Young even looks like on your team. So it's
Nope.
almost like when you go to the casino, you put like you lose $200 and you're like, shit, I got to make that money back. So you take out another $200 to make back the $200 you just lost. That's what the Wizards are doing. Again, granted, that trade for Trey Young, they gave up practically nothing to get him.
Yeah.
They so like it's not like you gave up your future for Trey Young and now you have to extend him. They did it out of their own volition, and on the Hawks, Trey Young was the offensive engine for that team.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, he was a defensive liability by all means, but like you want to talk about being an electric scorer, being someone that could just dime everyone and touch the ball and do all of that. And look, the Wizards don't have much. Like, who are they going to give this money to? They're not going to give this money to anyone else. And I'm definitely on board with you where like Darren Peterson was right there and he could have very well been a number one pick within his own right. But I am lockstep with you. Even before this happened, we'll get to the NBA draft. I felt like Dybansta was always the number one skilled guy in this NBA draft coming up, regardless if Trey Young gets signed or not. So just seeing that only validates Dybansta
Yep.
going one. But we also can't forget that Cameron Boozer is also a possibility too. But again, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Just that Trey Young signing, like it just feels like they're covering their asses because you just traded for Anthony Davis. You just traded for Trey Young. In theory, that could sell jerseys, put asses in seats, and if you get the best of Trey
In
Young and get the
theory.
best of Anthony Davis, you're like a
For
play-in
all of
team
15
just on those
games.
two guys. So, I mean, again, we're talking theoretical. Like even if you get like a 40 game Anthony Davis, those 40 games that Anthony Davis gives you is elite. But again, that's being nice. 40 games is nice for Anthony Davis because we've seen the
Yeah.
past couple years, pretty much all of his career, for being honest. The
Ever since the Pelicans,
Lakers,
really.
yeah, I mean, like the Pelicans was kind of rough, but he did enough where he moved on to the Lakers for a hefty deal and won a championship.
Hmm.
And he got put on the NBA 75 team even before all this Mavericks and Wizards shenanigans. So, like, again, Anthony Davis at his best is an all NBA talent, all star,
100%.
star, you know. But then we've seen just the debacle with the Dallas debacle here, where it's like you can't even get more than 5 games out of Davis, and it's just like, I mean, again, when you're the Wizards, you don't have much of a choice. You have this number one pick, so you pray that the Bansa works out, because
Yeah.
then again, you have your big, you have your guard. The Bansa will be that wing that I project him to be like a Tatum Brown type of guy, and you'll see where you go from there. So we'll see. I mean, again,
This
Wizards do not make good deals.
and this Wizards team is weird in the fact that, like, obviously when you have the number one pick, you're a really bad team. But make it they get a pick and they have the band stuff. None of these players have played together. They traded for Trey Young. He didn't play at all. They traded for Anthony Davis. He didn't play at all. You're gonna be getting that Dybansta. That's gonna be his first games in the NBA. And then you have Alex Saw and Keyshawn George. I'm like, nobody has played together. This is gonna be a complete new experience for the entire team. Like, at least in
Hmm.
other situations, you get number one picks. The team was bad, but you have that team now. You have a number one pick to add to it. This is just like a whole new team completely
Yeah.
because half these players didn't even play last year.
And look, no one wants to be a wizard. You're kind of forced to be a wizard, and
You see his
you know,
face? You saw his face when he got the number one when the Wizards got the number one pick. You
yeah.
saw
I,
no,
I mean, I mean, it's just one of those things, man. I mean, again, if you talk about dysfunction, the Wizards are top of the list, or one of the top most dysfunctional guys. I mean, you know, I like Keyshawn George. I like Champagny. Like, these are decent guys. D'Angelo Russell, I mean, he's Mr. Alpha that will do something. You know, he's a vet at this point of his career. Fine. But like, I mean, Bilal Coulibaly, just another name. I'm just
just
throwing
another
names
name.
out there. Alex Sarr, you said Alex Sarr because you have to throw these names because if you're a Wizards fan, you're just praying that the Bansa is the guy, and now you're excited. You may see in the best case scenario, Wizards being a fringe playoff team. But again, that implies that Trey Young gels with Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis gives you a healthy season, and then Dybansta is truly that guy. If all that works out, I don't see how the Wizards would not be a fringe playoff team. But there's so out of 100 chances, that's like 2 or 3%, in my opinion. So it's like
It,
I don't know.
it's very slim. And again, and it just throws so much money at Trey Young, and it's just we've seen the best of Trey Young, and it doesn't even get you
Hmm.
to a finals. It gets you. They made it. He made it
Third
to the
round,
championship.
he
Yeah,
made it third round. Yeah.
but that was the best he had. And you're not getting. He's not getting better than that. I don't think you're getting that anymore out of him anymore. That
Hmm.
was a special year for him.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis, he's great. He is great. It's just you don't get a full season out of him. Sar has
And
been disappointing so far. Eh,
yeah, and now that we go into this draft, right? Because we're talking about the Bants to be the number one guy. I think there are a clear top four, and they could go quite literally anywhere. Darren Peterson probably could have been that guy. He could have been the number one pick. He's probably the best highest ceiling, I would say.
mhm.
Cameron Boozer would struggle to fit in this team because again, you already have Anthony Davis, Alex Sarr is a center, but not really a center. So it's like having Boozer
You
be
have
there
you have
doesn't make
Keyshawn
sense.
George, who's a forward, so you already have a forward there too. And so it's like,
So I mean, like even someone like a Caleb Williams, right, who's like a stretch forward, that's a better defensive guy than the Bansa. Like in theory, the best way to build around a Trey Young, because the Wizards are saying that Trey Young's their future, you would want a defensive-minded guy. And Caleb
yep,
Wilson would be a more defensive-minded dude. His last year in college, he had a steal and a half per game and a block per game. And he's a 6'9" power forward. So like he could play the wing. He's a versatile and athletic dude, but I don't think anyone has Caleb Wilson as their number one guy. It would
No.
feel like a reach. It would feel like a Wizards type of move because again, Wizards they're not known for making smart decisions. But
We'd be like, yep, makes sense.
I could see Caleb Wilson being the best fit maybe, but I just don't see how Dybansta is not the number one pick for them.
Yeah, I think that's set. And as we get closer to the draft, only got two more things to mention before we get fully into it. One, gotta mention, just we haven't talked about it. The Knicks' dominant run through the playoffs as they just swept through the entire playoffs, went through the East, came back 27 points on the Spurs, had a great year. So I just want to, hey, good job, Knicks. As a Pacers fan, I don't know how you feel as a Celtics fan. You normally aren't happy to watch a Knicks team win, but I was perfectly fine with this specific Knicks team winning. I had no issue with them. Me specifically, I had no choice. My team sucked. It was nothing. I was just got to sit back and watch. Yeah, good job, guys. But
I mean,
this team deserved it. I just feel like they deserved the championship this year.
they were the most dominant team in the playoffs. If you want to talk all-time great teams, they're probably the best Knicks team in Knicks history. If you want to take a step back and say all of NBA history, I'd be reluctant to put this Knicks team on the pantheon of great teams because they were a third seed. They didn't have any homegrown talent really on this team, unless you want to go to Deuce McBride. Like Deuce McBride was like the only guy they really
Yeah.
drafted that was a factor on this team. So like if you want to talk about team building, there's a masterclass in trading and dealing for players. But I mean, again, like I'm as far as a Boston fan goes, New York and Boston always has a rivalry, but my shit list teams are the Lakers, the Heat, and the Sixers. If those three teams don't win a championship, I'm happy. But now, if the Knicks go back to back, I'm going to be full on the hater side again.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'll give
Okay.
them the grace. I'll give them the grace of this year. And, I mean, just to sprinkle in a little bit of Knicks draft talk, they have a late pick. They moved in late. I think that OG Anunoby was like their biggest spot where it was like when he went down, the Knicks struggled the most. So
Mhm.
if I'm the Knicks, I would want to look for someone in this draft that will fit the mold of like an OG Anunoby type of guy. Um, I had this guy was named Peterson. I don't have his first name, but he was like a stretch forward. Like if I were the Knicks in this upcoming draft, I would want to stretch forward, similar to an OG to have a backup because they're set everywhere else. Like if you
That
want to
makes
talk
sense.
about
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson, you had Josh Hart be the heart and soul of this team. Karl Anthony Towns is set as your center, and a lot of these guys are staying on the team too. Like they're there for the next 2 years or so. So they could hypothetically repeat. It just felt like that wing situation, especially when OG went down. And again, OG was one of the most important guys in this playoff run.
Yeah.
So they're going to want someone to replace him when he's not there.
Yeah. That makes it. OG Anunoby for a moment had the case of being Finals MVP. He had for a second it almost looked like it because like the first game and a half, it looked like Cat. And
Hmm.
then for a split second after that, it looked like Anunoby because he was consistently dropping 30.
Hmm.
And then Jalen Brunson came and dropped 40 and had his crazy shots and can't let him come back and then dominated. It's like, well, not even a debate anymore. Not even a debate anymore. But without OG and Anobi, yeah, they wouldn't have. They probably don't win that series. As much as Jalen Brunson did, but even if they do win the series, at least go seven because OG kept the team afloat. Because Jalen Brunson's first half non-existent. The dude didn't exist in the first
Hmm.
half, and OG just kept him afloat until Jalen Brunson got hot.
And look, the biggest disgrace as far as the series went, to put a nice bow on the Spurs Knicks series, is the fact that Spurs led for 74%. Quite literally 3/4 of every single game in a 5-game series that they lost, mind you, they led. So if this Spurs team was a little more capable, not so tight in those fourth quarters, choking away these leads, we probably wouldn't even be talking about this Knicks team. We would be talking
Yeah,
about how amazing Wemby is, how this is Wemby's team now, the second youngest champions in NBA hits. Like there's very much another lane where that could have been the case. But the Spurs, if anything, choked away these games, and it's very much the Spurs losing this series rather than this Knicks team. So that's another part of why I'm not fully sold on this Knicks being a true all-time team because of how the Spurs practically gave them this series as a present, you know.
yeah. And
But
as
again,
I
best Knicks team ever.
and as I think I've mentioned on here before, I know I've said it somewhere. It really reminded me of 2 years ago of the Pacers versus the Celtics, of us having a 90% chance of winning every game, and we got swept. And we would just it was really our first time being in a conference finals, facing a team that's been to a conference finals before, and we could compete. But the moment you need to close, we were like, yeah, I don't know how to do that at all. And then the year
We
after that, we made it to the finals, good to game seven. That happens. But yeah, that year before, we just didn't have the experience to know how to win in that situation. We just did it.
It's a time-honored tradition in the NBA where again, there's a reason why young teams do not go on far runs often, or even if they do. The Thunder team that won last year was like the last exception since the 80s of like a young team being successful in the playoffs and making it to the finals. So
Yep.
like you're almost required to go through the heartbreak and realizing what it takes to, not only have a lead but close. Because closing's always a problem with young teams. 'Cause again, you're not used to the moment, the high pressure situations, things that would be normally fundamentally normal.
Hmm.
But then again, when you're not thinking and you're going off instincts, it makes disasters happen.
Wemby throwing it off of Castle's back. That doesn't happen in any of the 82 other games. But in the
No.
finals, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Same with the Pacers. That's what we did. Halliburton is known for not turning the ball over. What did we do all series against the Boston and the last minute and 2 minutes? We turned the ball over the entire time. It was like this is not what how the Pacers play at all. It's like
No.
they're just too young. It really what it was. For once, the young they just weren't experienced enough. They couldn't do
Yep.
it. And
Mhm.
that brings me to my last point before we get to the draft. As you get to the draft, you get to the off season, just about every team is excited for this. Even when like your team like the Knicks, they might not be so excited for the draft just because they just want it, but they're excited because they just won a championship. They don't have to worry about a draft. Hey, they're set. Same with somebody like the Spurs. They really don't even need to draft anybody. Their entire team is like my age. They're set. Your team is set, but you at least have some drama going on. You might get Giannis, you might not get Giannis. There's a lot to look at. You can't look at anything when you're the Pacers. We have nothing to talk about. We don't have a first round pick. We don't have a second round pick. We don't have a first round pick next year. We have no picks for the next 2 years. Our best look is a second round pick next year. That's the closest we have to a pick in the next 2 years. All for Ivaka Zubac. And again, and I've mentioned it and I've talked about it. I like that we have a true center. And I like Miles Turner. Miles Turner is great for the 10 years he was there. He served our system right. He was perfect in our system. But it hurt when he was only getting 2 rebounds at 7 foot. It really did. It really hurt him not getting any rebounds. So to have somebody who can go and get rebounds, it's really nice. But to lose a whole for not even a first round pick, to lose a top 5 pick in a stacked draft class on a team that was just in the NBA Finals really really hurts. That one hurts because in the end, when you look at it, they could have just traded Benedict Mathurin now and just kept the pick. Granted, do we get a center out of it? Maybe not. But we trade Mathurin, we get something. We might have number one. How it looks, we had number 5 pick. Whatever. We might luck out and get Cameron Boozer. We might luck out get Caleb Wilson. Maybe if they all get picked top 4 and we just miss it again because for some reason, even the Pacers have never had a number 1 pick ever in their history, we still fell number 5. Maybe
Mhm.
we reach and get I forget his name, but Michigan center, just because it'd be number 5 and
Oh,
we need
a
a
day
center.
Mara, a
Yeah,
day Mara. Yeah.
maybe we reach there because at this point, if we can't get AJ, we had Benedict. We just need a center. We get him. But now we just sit here and just hope Tyrese Halliburton gets healthy next year. Which again, if he does, this team should be fine. We only need to make one okay move in the offseason to sign another bench player to be okay. But it still hurts to see what could have been with a team that was just in the finals. We could have a top five pick, and now we're just sitting on the outside, and not even just sitting on the outside this year, and sitting on the outside next year. No matter what happens, we're still on the outside.
Hmm.
It hurts. It does hurt not having any hope. You just kind of
Yeah.
if Tyrese Halliburton comes back, cool, we're good. But that's all we got. That's what we have to hang our hat on at this point.
And also, I mean, like you were talking about Daymara, just to go in a little more into the draft talk, he was someone in this current draft that's not even projected in the top 10. So, in hypothetical sense, right? If the protection, let's just say his protection never happened, Pacers have the number 5 pick. It would definitely feel like a Daymara would be too far to reach because for me, the biggest red flag with a Daymara is how are you 7'3" and only average 6 boards per game? Like he's not
That's a
like a
that's a Pacers guy right there.
yeah, I mean yeah, you're looking at Miles Turner but bigger. And he averaged 2.6 blocks per game, which is again fantastic interior defender, but the blocks and the boards don't add up because he can shoot threes. I mean, at 30% is below average for a 3-point guy, so he wouldn't be expected to be a 3-point guy like a Kristaps or a Karl Anthony Towns. So like you would expect for someone like a Daymar, especially at 7'3", to get more than 6 boards per game. So it would be hard for me to rationalize someone like that. So like you would ideally hope for someone like a Caleb Wilson who is a solid defender, actually gets more boards per game at
and yeah,
9.4 at 6'9" than a 7'3" big, or someone like a Yaxel Lendeberg, who's also a power forward with Michigan, who's also solid dude, 6'8", that has a 7'3" wingspan, who actually is on par as far as boards get with a Dave Mara. Like I'm not entirely sold on him. I feel like if any team in the top 10 gets him, they're kind of stretching for Daymar because clearly there's no true premium bigs in this, right? And when you
right.
look at this Pacers team, they're set at guard. Like the reason why they traded Benedict Mathurin is that they knew they have a wealth of guards. And when you get past the top four, when you look at that top 10, 6 through 10, you're looking at Keaton Wagler, you're looking at Darius Acuff, Mikael Brown, Braden Berry. These are all guards, and this wouldn't
Yeah,
be an
this
ideal
is
range
guard
for the
heavy.
Pacers. So, so yeah, so it's like it's tough. It would definitely be tough for the Pacers, and I do think Ivica Subak will work out in spades for this Pacers team. But Chad Buchanan, the GM of the Pacers, you better pray that this works out because there's no reinforcements coming. This is your team for this year and
Yeah,
next year.
yeah. Like I said, luckily this is the same team we had. Not the year we made it to the finals, but the year we made it to the conference finals against the Celtics. And again, I even then, even if we were experienced, I think again we lose that. But again, inexperience definitely hurt. But it showed what that team could do. Halliburton, Nimhart, Neesmith, Siakam, we know what they can do, and they've played together. So it's still that same team with the better center. Like I said, all we do is need to make one good splash to add to the bench. I hope Jairus Walker develops, but it's just one of those what could have been. This is a top draft. We could have had even at the lowest a top five pick. If we don't like anybody in the top five, we could have at least traded down from the top five pick and gotten something. Shoot, maybe even still gotten Zubac for this, and but traded down a little bit, and then we still have Matherin. But no, it just in one sense, I can't blame them. I understand the thought process. No way we fall below 4 with how bad we are. But this is the dice you roll when you have a draft lottery. This is what happens. You fall into this position. So
And Adam Silver's only fixing it to make it more random. So it's like if you already think the draft lottery doesn't make sense and teams with less than a 1% chance getting the number one pick or it's only gonna get more chaotic from here. So
It
buckle
makes no
in. I
sense.
think it's finally time for draft talk. I
It
think we
is time for
stalled
draft
long
talk.
enough.
So that brings a question: do you want to go through all 30 picks today, or do you want to leave it at like the half today?
I think that the top half will matter a lot because, I think once you start getting past the second half, like maybe we could bring up a few guys that maybe would be like sleepers, but I think the top 10, especially going into the top half, is going to be where the most drama is because I think there's going to be some trades. I think there's going to be some real crazy things happening in this upcoming draft.
Okay, so that gets us into the 2026 NBA draft, which we've mentioned a lot with this number one pick, and I think it's all in agreement. That Dybansta going number one to the Wizards,
Hmm.
especially with them re-signing Trey Young basically solidifies that's who they're getting. That with Trey Young saying he was gonna leave, that was the only thought that okay maybe they get Dan Peterson, but the moment they resign him, I mean that's set in stone. That's who they're getting. It's kind of done deal.
And I'm in lockstep with you. Again, I mentioned Caleb Wilson, because honestly, all of these top four guys could have been number one picks independently
Yeah,
of this draft. But the fact that they're all together, someone has to be number one, and then
right.
everybody else comes in following. And I mean, look, you look at AJ Dybansta at BYU, and he's just been nothing but just an absolute talent. Dude's averaged 25 points per game. He's someone that could steal the ball at a decent clip. He's efficient, 51% from the field, not so much from three, which I mean again, I think that's something that can be improved on over time. We've seen many guys that didn't shoot well improve their threes, and he's someone that just has the intangibles, that isn't afraid of the big moments, and he's someone that you would want to look at to be a foundational piece of the team. And that's all you could ask for someone of AJ Debanza. So I mean, like it would have been definitely more up in the air if the Trey Young signing didn't happen. But considering
Right.
that, I think it's definitely AJ Debanza is the number one pick, set in stone, final answer.
That's who I wanted the Pacers to get. That's what I was going this season. That's what I was hoping he would get. But here we are. Washington Wizards most likely getting him at number one. So that gets us to number two. And I do think number with the number two pick going to the Utah Jazz. I do think it's kind of set in stone that Darren Peterson's going there. Just because you look at this Jazz roster, you got Laurie Markkinen, center, Walker Kessler, center, Jaren Jackson, center, Yusuf Nurkic, center, Kyle Filipowski, center. They have nothing but big men. Like, kind of have to draft a guard. Like, it would make no
Yeah.
sense for them to draft a forward when they have nothing but big men on the team in the first place.
Jaron Jackson Jr. was their big person that they got, who's a power forward, which that would be the Carl Boozer, but Jaron Jackson Jr. can shoot, so it's
Mm-hmm.
like at least you get that out of him. And
Market and
then
Markkinen can shoot as well. You have Markkinen,
yeah,
and
so
then
yeah,
they're
Laurie of course can shoot. And I'll give
you're
credit to the Jazz because Isaiah Collier, fantasy, if you play fantasy basketball, if you know, you know, Isaiah Collier was a clutch guy. And last year in the draft, we saw Ace Bailey say, I refuse to go to Utah Jazz. Darren Peterson's kind of doing the same thing, not as loud, but does Danny Ainge give a crap? Nope.
nah,
He ain't
nah.
care last year, Ace Bailey. Darren Pearson, you will be a Utah Jazz guy. Because, again, he's the best talent, I would say,
Mhm.
like, best floor coming in. And the injury problems are a concern. The butting heads with the coach when he was like, if you're not all in, just sit down. Darren Pearson's like, all right, man, if you say so. Um, so those are concerns, but supposedly Darren Peterson has fixed them. People in his camp are saying that he's got past the cramps and stuff like that. So I mean, like I think Darren Peterson has to be that bona fide too.
So, and then that asks the question. They get Dan Pearson right. Obviously, the two bigs, Markin and Jaren Jackson, are your two bigs. You got Ace Bailey at the small forward. Who plays point guard and who plays shooting guard between Keontae George and Dan Peterson? Who do you put where?
I mean, see, here's the thing. Darren Pearson is not a facilitator
He's a
at
scorer,
all.
straight score.
He's a scorer. And I mean, I'm gonna have to look up Keyshawn George's numbers, but I don't think he's
He
much of a facilitator either. He averaged four
uh,
assists. That's bad. That's decent. Not great, but it's a lot
he's
to
he's
ask for
gone up
from a young guy.
he's gone up each year, which I didn't even I thought he was only been in the league for 2 years. He's been in the league 3 years. And assists has gone up each year. He went from 4.4 to 5.6 to 6.1.
Yeah.
So it's going
I
up, and
mean,
yeah, Dan Peterson had what average what 1 assist college.
yeah, he averaged a little over one assist this past season. So like, the
He
Utah
said, "I get the
Jazz will
ball, I'm
definitely have a
scoring."
problem. Yeah, they'll definitely have a point guard problem. That's where someone like Darius Acuff has an outside chance of like if the Jazz were to go strictly need, not best available, Darius Acuff would have an outside chance. But let's be honest, Darren Pearson, he was when he played, he was just fantastic scorer. And it's just like he's just someone you can't pass on, even with the injury red flags. I'm sorry, he's probably the best scorer in this draft, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Despite him only scoring 20 points per game, 38% from three is pretty damn good. He'll give you a steal. He'll grab some boards because he's a high effort guy, and
Mhm.
he's like when he's locked in.
He's 6'6". He's got some height to him. He
Yeah.
so
Six. Yeah. Wait. Sorry.
yeah, he's six
Six
six.
four.
He's
Is he
six
six
four.
four? Like six six. 6'4", six. He's like 6'4", 6'5". So like, I mean, again, not short guy by any means. Has a nice wingspan to him where he won't be a defensive liability. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think he's just a bona fide too, no doubt.
Now it gets us to probably the two worst teams I'd want to be in this draft. It's funny because they're the you would think the number one pick is the worst team and the number two pick, but these two teams with the Memphis Grizzlies and the Chicago Bulls, no matter who they get, obviously they're getting a talent, but I just don't see whoever they get helping them at all because they're in such a bad spot. Starting with the Memphis
Hmm.
Grizzlies. Memphis Grizzlies, John Morant, that's the entire team. It's actually John Morant.
And he wants out. He doesn't even want to be
Exactly.
a Grizzly anymore.
But nobody wants to pick up John for how much talent John Morant it has. His personality has put off teams so bad that they're not even willing to take the chance with him. So the Memphis Grizzlies are going into this draft with basically nothing. Yeah, they're basically going to Zach Edey is the other person that pops up if you look at the Memphis Grizzlies. That's the next person that pops up. So the next two top talents obviously go to Cameron Boozer and Caleb Wilson. However, and I can see them going either way. I would, with them being in such a bad position, to me, you have to pick the best scorer that's left because
Ooh. Okay. Okay.
there's nothing else there. Like if you get somebody like he can play good defense, okay, but can we even score for help him on defense? It doesn't matter. So like they could pick Cameron Boozer because Cameron Boozer can score. That's cool. He's a little bit better scorer than Caleb Wilson. Caleb was a little better defender. But like I could easily see them going somewhere like Darius Acuff and be like, okay, we got our point guard. Whatever we have to do to get rid of John Morant, it doesn't even matter anymore. We at least have a scorer on the team now. If they get Cameron Boozer or Caleb Wilson, what does that really do for the team? It just doesn't do
So
anything.
right, I have Cameron Boozer actually at the number three, and I
Okay.
totally get where you're coming from because again, especially with the John Morant problem swirling and how he wants to get out, the fact of the matter is his trade value is not there. So if
It's
John
not.
Morant wants to get the hell off of Memphis, he has to show out and play out of his mind because he has been nothing but a problem recently, and it's like Well, we've seen plenty of times where players with personality problems still be fine in the NBA. I mean, that's sports in general. A lot of players get forgiven for the personality problems because they play. But John Morant missed out most of last year. And even during this
Yeah.
past year, he was fighting with teammates, he was fighting with the coaches. He couldn't get along with anyone. So, if you're any team, you would want to give up a Trey Young type of package where you're only giving up two players and no draft picks for John Morant. And the
Yeah.
Grizzlies are like, hey, this is the number two pick that at his peak was phenomenal, borderline all NBA player, and he definitely doesn't have a place that he's one of those guys like how we talked about Giannis where he wants to get to the rim, he's an explosive dude, and he doesn't have longevity's sake, but he's someone that you'd want to win now with. And I think he still has plenty of value. But when you barely played last season, John Morant has no choice but to man up, be more mature, and run this Grizzlies team because he's supposed to be the guy. He's supposed to be
Yeah.
the franchise guy for the Grizzlies. So I'm living under the assumption that John Morant is going to be the guy for the Grizzlies next year. So under that assumption, I look at Cameron Boozer, right?
Hmm.
He's a 22 and 10 guy who has some playmaking ability. I mean, at 4 assists per game as a stretch four is pretty good. And then when you look at his shooting splits, 55% from the field, almost 40% from three. If I've ever seen a Jaren Jackson Jr. replacement, this is the guy. Because, you
Yep.
literally just gave up Jaren Jackson Jr. to the Jazz, who is picking before you. So, as far as skill, as far as ability to be an all-around guy, I mean, like you're not gonna expect him to really be like an interior threat. I mean, like he did average a block, he almost averages 2 steals, so he's no slouch on defense by any means, but that's not your expectation with him. You're expecting to be a Jaren Jackson Jr. type of guy, and again, Jaren Jackson Jr. played phenomenally on the Grizzlies. So
Yep.
I look at Cameron Boozer and it's like, hey, he may be Jaren Jackson Jr. but with a higher ceiling. So I just see him fitting on that Grizzlies team very well. And then when you look at, you know, again, you tell me Santi Aldama, you want him. You want Cedric Coward. You want G.G. Jackson, the other Jackson, or friggin' Derek Whitehead. Like, I mean, you're definitely right. This Grizzly team is in dire straits, but you just have to pray that they could somehow, keep John Morant happy. And if Cameron Boozer ends up being that guy, I think maybe they could repair things with John Morant because for now they're forced to deal with him. So I think Cameron Boozer is the exact guy right now to be competitive and. Because, I mean, again, if you get someone like an A-Cuff, you're already waving the white flag and it's already done. So give me Cameron Boozer at the number three.
Okay. Okay. So that again, then that takes us to the second team that I wouldn't want to be in this situation. The Chicago Bulls, the guard central of the Chicago Bulls, the team who decided to trade their entire team away for just point guards. The entire team is straight point guards on this team. I do think with where they're sitting at number 4, the odds are Cameron Boozer does go to the Utah Jazz. Not the Utah Jazz, the Memphis Grizzlies. Odds are he does go to Memphis Grizzlies. Like I said, I could see if I'm them, I see a scenario where they get a cup and just go best score. But as you said, nobody wants to get is going to take John Morant. So I can see where you're going. So if even if Cameron Boozer doesn't go, say they do swing for a cup, I still think the Chicago Bulls team is still looking at Caleb Wilson only because this is a team that needs any defensive presence on the team. Granted, again,
Mm-hmm.
they have no, there are two players on the team as Giddy and Booz Ellis. That's the only two players that are worth really mentioning. I don't think Simons. I'm pretty sure he's gonna be gone. I don't think he's gonna stay on the team.
They got
Yeah,
Rob Dillingham. Let's not forget high draft pick Rob Dillingham, disgrace
yeah.
from the was it Timberwolves?
The
It was
Timberwolves,
Timberwolves.
the Timberwolves got rid of him immediately.
Yeah.
Again,
And
another
then you
guard, Mac
have
McClung. They got Mac McClung.
oh boy, the G League star himself, Gershon Big Booty Yabusele. I mean, come on now. Come on now.
So it's
You
like
know?
they need any type of big man defensive presence, and that's what Caleb Wilson's gonna bring. He can still score. He dropped 20 points a game, but he was just under 10 rebounds a game, and as we mentioned, was getting a steal a game, getting a block a game. At least there's somebody to fear on defense. Again, all you gotta do is kind of hey, pull him to the 3 point line. The rest of the team's like gonna guard. Giddy has some defense just because he's a bigger guard,
Hmm.
but like I mean, again, other than Giddy, Josh Giddy might be the second tallest person on the team right now. So I gotta get some type of a big man presence on the team that can play better defense, and that's the only reason I think it goes either. Even if Boozer is available, I think it goes Wilson over Boozer because unlike the Grizzlies who need some type of scoring option, the Bulls need any type of defensive presence on the team.
Yeah. No, no doubt. And I mean, look, if they go your route, right, with a guard, which I could very well see the Grizzlies go with a guard, because I mean, again, you're not wrong as far as Grizzlies needing scoring, being unsure about the future of John Moran. So let's just say Nacuff were to go. There's no shot Boozer falls beyond the number 4 pick. So, like, in a perfect world for the Bulls, you'd pray that Cameron Boozer hits that fourth pick because I think he has that star potential and he will give you that perfect all around game where, like, Patrick Williams and Isaac Okoro are both solid forwards, but neither of them are starter potential
All
guys.
right.
Let's be honest. So Zach Collins, I mean, I could have sworn he was a center, but they have him listed as a forward. So like again, the more you name these guys, the more I want to throw up. So in an ideal scenario, Cameron Boozer's there, but yeah, I mean, if you want defense, you want athleticism. He's a two-way guy and probably the best defender of these top 4 picks. Yeah, Caleb Wilson makes the most sense here. So yeah, give me Caleb Wilson at the 4. Where for the people at home, Dybansta, Pearson, Boozer, and Caleb Wilson I feel like they have to be the top 4 in
Yeah,
any form.
there's only a slight chance that A Cup slips in, and it only be for Memphis. No other team is gonna slip, but that's the only team I could see it. But it's almost set that that's gonna be a top four. And honestly, Dybansta, Peterson, Boozer, and Wilson seems like the order it's most likely gonna go in. It just fits the teams the best. I mean, honestly, anything helps Memphis and Chicago. They're just like I said, it's just terrible for them too. Washington, Utah, at least I can see a vision where you can put a team together. Hey, there's Memphis and Chicago. Just what are we doing? What are we even doing over there? It's terrible. But I
Yeah.
think that gets us to maybe frustratingly, the most interesting pick of this draft, which is the LA Clippers taking the Pacers draft at number 5, becomes probably the most interesting pick. Only because top 4, it can change, but you kind of have an idea of what's going to be. But what do the Clippers do? They have Darius Garland now at point guard. You have Benedict Mathurin now at shooting guard. And you have Kawhi Leonard at forward. Now you have a good, solid 3 foundations. Kawhi is older, but I mean he's shown when he's just like Anthony Davis, when he can play, he's still a top player. Garland and Mathurin are young and they can score. So, and all of the top players are going to be picked by now. What do what do the Clippers do? Granted, again, also this is such a guard heavy draft, and they already have Mathurin and Garland there.
So okay. So I have a little Google Doc where I pretty much did my own like form of an oracle, right? So these 5 and 6 picks are crucial because this is like the trade zone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because right now, there's been a lot of rumors that Sacramento Kings really like Wagner, they really like Acuff, and
Okay.
if those two guys are still on the board at this point, I could see a world the Kings decide like, hey, we're willing to trade up a pick or two to get either of these guys, but we're gonna just live in the world that no trades happen, all these picks go. In my personal opinion, I think Keen Wagler's the guy
Okay.
because you're 1,000% right that the Clippers are in a tough spot, and you wouldn't think that the guards are necessarily where they want to go. But when I look at Acuff, when I look at Wagler, um, what I see is that Acuff's 6'2" frame is a very tough sell for me, and especially when the the Clippers are likely going to be starting Darius Garland as their point guard, who's already 6'1", mind you.
Right, it's already a smaller
And
guard.
James Harden is not a good. Oh no, James Harden's not on the team anymore. That's right, because he got traded.
Mhm.
So you
Matherin,
would
Matherin's the
want
two. Yeah.
you have Mathurin at the two. Now I know you love Matherin, so I'm not going to talk you out of Matherin being the guy. But I would just want another guard in that rotation because Bradley Beal, I mean, he's pretty
Ooh.
much off the team. Let's be honest. You got Bradley Beal, you got Bogdan Bogdanovic, you got Chris Dunn. Like these, like I mean, like, and again, Ben Matherin is solid, but if you want a reliable guard with decent size, you know, Wagler's that guy. He's a 3-and-D guy. He shot almost 40% from three. And just having that 6'5" build, when you have a Darius Garland that's 6'1", you don't want to pair him with a 6'2" A-Cuff. Because
Yeah.
that's just going to be barbecue chicken in your
Because
backcourt.
he's not the barbecue chicken, bro. And granted, if they get Ragler, they could put how about went to a whole other sport. They could put Garland at point guard, Wrangler at shooting guard, Mather at small forward, and then Kawhi at power forward. You could do that because
Right.
even though Matherin isn't necessarily small forward size, he's athletic enough to jump with them. He'll get up there. He's physical. He's gonna punch DeAndre Hunter in the stomach and get in fights.
And that's what you want. He's a dog. Matherin's a dog.
Yes,
And you in the NBA is you want to lean more towards height. And Acuff is solid, but if Garland didn't exist, then Acuff would be the pick here. But
yeah.
because Acuff's a shorter dude, you can't have a backcourt where those two potentially be on the court at the same time.
And then if LA, you mentioned Sacramento, if LA is gonna trade with Sacramento for the number going 5 to 7, obviously Sacramento has said at this point they give it anybody, they give it the entire team, they don't care anymore. Is it the only person I could see them getting that the Clippers would want is the bonus? That's the only person I could think of. Because like, what's DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine gonna do? Zach LaVine, granted, could the good enough scores that they could come off the bench, I guess. But like the bonus is the only one that's gonna make a true impact immediately. The Rosen and DeMar and Zach LaVine are gonna be like, hey, again, they're just older, they're bench people at this point.
And I mean, look, if I'm the Clippers, I look at that Kings team and be like, just give me your next 3 years first round, whatever
Damn.
legal 3 first round picks. And again, if the Kings are that desperate, they will pony up for it because it's like,
But
yeah,
they're
I
so bad, you can't give up. You over here talking about asking for their future. They don't got a future. They need to make a future.
I mean, look, man, the Kings are borderline a money laundering scheme because they're not in a position to win now or to win ever. But and again, you got rid of De'Aaron Fox, you got rid of your best players, and
Yep.
now you're stuck with the corpses of the Clippers friggin' former team on your team. I mean, what? You're telling me Malik Monk and Russell Westbrook and Precious Achiuwa is gonna be your future? Hell no.
Yes, sir.
But
Yes, sir. Russell Westbrook.
I mean, I could just see the Kings licking their lips, looking at Darius Acuff, seeing the upside in Darius Acuff, and look at that number 5 pick and be like, he could be the future of our franchise. Screw next year's first round pick. Screw this year's first round pick. I mean, like, because I mean, like, maybe there's a world where, hey, give me Keegan Murray. I'll give you some salary offset, but you're gonna need more picks. Like, it's not gonna just be a 1-for-1. Like, it's gonna be like a Keegan Murray or a Precious, 2 picks, maybe more, maybe a second round pick. Maybe you throw a second round pick or two in there just to sweeten it. And I mean, I think Acuff does have that upside. I do think he is a potential foundation piece of a
Mhm.
team, which is why I could see the Kings, where if they really wanted to trade for Acuff, they would. Um, but it wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense to only move up two picks and give up their future. But that's what it would take because I'm not taking any of their vets. Even a Sabonis, I'm not giving. I'm not taking Sabonis. I'm sorry.
Okay, but Garland, Matherin, Kawhi, and Sabonis, you're not rocking with that, and they still get a number 7 pick. You're not rocking with that.
Sabonis is a fake big bro. He's like Andre Drummond. You know,
Okay, he's
like,
a
and
double
he
double machine, man. Double
Andre
double.
Drummond. Andre Drummond. You're saying you're looking at Andre Drummond, but a little
Oh,
bigger because he's not an interior presence. He's not a defensive big. He's 6'10", and
that's what
his
Kawhi
best
for.
he can't even average a block. I mean, yeah, okay, great. Kawhi. Okay, speaking of dudes that aren't available for most of the regular season, you're telling me you're gonna trust Kawhi Leonard to play a lot of this? No. And Sabonis, his best season, he averaged 0.5 blocks. He can't even average you have to round up a good amount to even
Round up.
pretend that Sabonis is a good defender. I'm sorry. He's not a good defender. He's not a real big. He's Andre Drummond but white. I'm sorry.
He's not a real big. It's crazy, bro. Yeah, I'm over here hating on my former Pacer players, man.
I'm sorry. You had Andre Drummond. You got rid of him. Not even the Pacers wanted him.
Yeah, we got to start celebrating, you know? Because we had, we had Miles Turner and Demonis Sabonis. You can't have both. They're doing the same thing down there.
And they have neither. They have Zubac. I'd rather have Zubac than either. I'd rather have Zubac than either. And you complain about having no picks, but you tell me, would I rather have Miles Turner, Sabonis, and who knows where the first round pick is? Because you know the Pacers would get shafted regardless in the draft, because the Pacers
Yep.
aren't like a priority team. Or do I want Zubac? I might lean
I
towards
mean,
Zubac if that first round pick isn't good. You know.
alright, so that moves us. It's the team, a team that has one player on their team, the Brooklyn Nets. Brooklyn Nets, yes, Brooklyn Nets. They have Michael Porter. Which one is Michael Porter even going to stay on this team? Is he? Because okay, at the number 6 pick, right? There is a chance. There is a chance that A Cuff is still on the board here, right? And they
Mhm.
could pair A Cuff with Porter, and that could be nice. But if A Cuff isn't there, do you just trade away Michael Porter at this point too and just restart? Just it's like Michael, the possession interior Porter. He's just gonna catch the ball and shoot it. Like it's fun to watch. And they had Cam Thomas, who also ends the possession on the team. They finally got rid of him, which again, that's why if A Cuff is there, it works because A Cuff is what the Nets wanted Cameron Thomas to be. Because Cameron Thomas is a good scorer. He can score. But he won't pass the ball. And neither will Michael Porter. But Acuff, you get an Acuff who can, score. It's a little smaller but can score, but will pass the ball. Okay, we can work this out. But if Acuff isn't there, and crazy enough, as we were talking about it, Julius Randle just got traded.
No way. Julius Randle just
Julius
got
Randle
traded
just got traded
right
to the
under our
Brooklyn
noses.
Nets. To the
No,
Brooklyn
shut.
Nets.
Oh well, that solves the forward problem with the with the
Hey,
Nets. Go
Darius
on.
Acuff is going to Brooklyn. We're about to get Darius Acuff, Michael Porter, Julius Randle.
Oh man, I might buy my Brooklyn Nets tickets right now, dude. Cause I mean, like, yeah, I mean, I had Darius A. Cup here. I mean, assuming that the draft goes exactly the way that I expected to go, A. Cup would fall to number 6, which again would be a value pick here. Um, I mean, look, it would be a Hooper's paradise. You know, again, not basketball, but Hooper. It's a totally different distinction because nothing that they would be doing would be considered fundamental basketball. But when you're the Nets, you don't have much to really go off of. You just had 6 first round picks last year. 5 picks or whatever it was, and none of them hit right away. Oh, is there the compensation? Did you see a compensation? Let me see because the
Oh, yeah.
compensation matters a lot here.
3-team trade. You're
Oh
gonna laugh.
shit.
You're gonna laugh at this 13 because it's hilarious. The Minnesota
Oh no.
Timberwolves are sending Julius Randle and the number 28 pick to the Brooklyn Nets,
Wow.
and sends Nick Claxton to the Chicago Bulls.
No. That's their best player. So what do the Bulls get? So what do the
so,
Bulls get?
so the Nick Claxton's going to the Bulls. The Knicks hasn't got sent
Sorry,
to the Bulls.
sorry.
So now the Bulls have Giddy, Bulls Ellis, and Caleb Wilson. Oh my God! Wow! Hey! Wow! They have a defensive presence now. They might have a defense.
I
So
don't
that means
understand
what
what the
did the
Bulls do. What did the Bulls do in this trade?
well,
They
let's
just
see if
get
there's
Claxton and just call it a day? Like what?
they can they can. I'm sure they sent them. Let me see if there's any more. I'm sure they sent them some type of guard, right? Right. Like they got 22,000 guards on the team. You gotta send them one of them, right? Oh, let's see. Shams, yep, 28 pick in that NBA draft, and it doesn't run to the Brooklyn Nets. It sends Nick Claxton to Chicago Bulls. The Timberwolves will acquire Brooklyn's number 33 pick for Randall and number 20. What? Yeah, Sham, you losing it, bruh. You repeated yourself. They get Brooklyn's number 33 pick. So they went down.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I have it right here. Julius Randle 28th pick to Brooklyn. I guess the Timberwolves get the Bulls 33 pick, and then
Mm.
Claxton goes to the Bulls. I mean,
And it's
unironically,
freeing
I
up
think
space. And it's freeing up space for Minnesota to re-sign Dosimo. That's basically what they're doing.
I mean, look, Julius Randle's probably now the second best player on the Nets right now. I
Yeah.
mean, like,
Uh,
Michael
uh,
Porter Jr. is the best guy. Claxton
yeah.
was the vet. For as long as I've watched Brooklyn Nets games, Nick Claxton has been on the team. He's been reliable on the team every year. So seeing Nick Claxton go to the Bulls as a local New Yorker that's gone to Brooklyn Nets games is going to be kind of sad. My heart goes out to the Brooklyn fans as far as that goes. And yeah, I mean Timberwolves are purely there to free up space, which is great because they know a potential Anthony Edwards sign extensions on the horizon, which who knows what goes on with Anthony Edwards. And now, and again, 33 pick, it's not like they totally lose out, but like I do think Julius Randle ran its course with Timberwolves. I don't even think that trade's that crazy, really. I mean, I think it was crazy just to say that out loud that Claxton goes to the Bulls and Randle goes to the Nets. Like that makes no
And
sense to me.
so the Bulls just got rid of their number one, their top second round pick for Nick Claxton, basically.
Which is a
And
good deal. That's a good deal, man. Claxton's solid.
they have a top four pick. Okay, so yeah, again, so now how this works out, they'll probably have Josh Giddey, who's zealous, Caleb Wilson, and Nick Claxton. And whichever other guard, which I mean, it could be Simons, could be Colin Sexton. I don't know which guard they're gonna have at this point.
They got plenty.
Okay,
They got plenty to choose
that's
from.
that's okay.
That's more
Okay,
of a vision because Claxton is definitely going to be their starting center, and we
right.
could not say that 20 minutes ago with this Bulls team.
Yeah, they had
So
Nick Richards at center. Uh,
yeah,
okay, and
oh
the
man,
Timberwolves again. The Timberwolves are freeing up space for Desimu, which they need. They need players around Ant, and Julius Randle was not the answer. It just, I
no,
mean,
no.
I think they finally figured out, we fucked up getting rid of Cat, so now they're just like, whatever, get rid of Julius Randle. And then what was the other team? The Nets. Yeah, the Nets. Julius
They get Julius
Randle,
Randle.
Michael Porter, and probably Acuff, and maybe Acuff. I mean,
So yeah, I mean, because now this actually now lines up better for the Brooklyn Nets because I mean, because it was like because we were just about to say if Acuff wasn't there, where would they go? And I would have leaned towards a Lendenberg or Murray Johnson because those are your forwards, your wings that are not quite top 10, but could be borderline top 10 guys. But now you have Julius Randle, that solves that problem. So now you
well,
get your
Michael
pick.
Porter isn't going anywhere. I put that answer question out there. Hey, well, they answered that for me. Cool.
Exactly. So like a cuff, he averages 6 assists per game. You want someone to extend the possession. If Michael Porter Jr. is your possession ends here guy, a cuff is a please do something to pray that Porter Jr. doesn't jump over two people to shoot a shot. So a cuff would ideally be that pick there. Braden Burry's another point guard that is a 6'3" point guard, not as great as a facilitator, but he's a high floor guy. And then Mikael Brown Jr. is also in that range, a bit of a facilitator, great
Mhm.
handles, sniper, So it's like you can't quite go wrong with any of those guys, but Brooklyn Nets, if you get Darius Acuff Jr., you're starting to look like you have a team now.
Right. So now let's wrap this up. We're getting an hour and 19 minutes in, and we got three more, seven, eight, nine, technically four more picks. Sacramento. Sacramento. This team is nothing. We'll say this at this point. Again, we're going it whether no trades happen because there's a potential that And again, if Sacramento were to jump up to 5, which again is only 2 spots, only person I can see I'm getting rid of is Sabonis. But say again, no trades happen. They have Sabonis, they have DeMar DeRozan, they got Zach LaVine. So obviously they're going like again. There's a lot of guards. They're gonna go guard. A
They
cup
have
would
a
be off the
lot of
board.
guards.
Right. At this point, A cup is off the board. Peterson's off the board, and Wrangler's off the board. That's our 3 guards that are already off the board for us. So that really the next ones that leap up is gonna be Michael Brown, Kingston Flemings, and if you throw them in there, Braden Burries.
Yeah, yeah, those are 3 guys in this bunch around top 10.
I would say, I mean, I guess I don't know if you can really go wrong, but let me look up more because right now I'm going Kingston Flemings just because he's a better shooter. Because
Yeah.
Kingston Flemings and Michael Brown are pretty similar. When you look at them, they are
Yeah.
very similar. Kingston is just a little bit better of a shooter than Michael Brown is. So in that sense, I go with him. Let me so the only thing I gotta look up is what Brandon Burries does, and Brandon Burries, I mean, 16 points. He's also a 40% 3-point shooter, but less of an assist guy, only 2.5 assists. So he's more of a shooting guard.
Mm.
And again, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, it's like
I mean, if you ask me, I when I was looking through other, professionals, mock drafts, a lot of people were projecting Mikael Brown close to the top 5. Like the lot, like closer to 5
yeah,
than to 10.
ESPN has the
So,
Nets picking Mikael Brown over Darius Acuff for the Nets.
yeah, which I mean, if you want to go by the experts pick, it does kind of feel like Mikael Brown would be that guy. He is a two-way guy that, I think the mixture of being able to shoot from deep and have handles, I mean, obviously efficiency is going to be a problem, but, you would hope that, having that two-way upside and the fact that you have a bunch of old dudes out there that you would want someone more athletic, more well-rounded. So, I mean, Mikael Brown would be your guy, but if you're looking for a shooter, I mean, it does kind of seem like Braden Berries would be the guy there too. Like I
Right.
feel like they'd be the 2 guys, and Kingston Flemings is a nice idea in theory, but I'm not entirely sold on him either. And it doesn't help that they're all around the same height, so it's like, so it's
Yeah, yeah.
tough.
So obviously they're going to guard. So then the next team, which I think is I want to say it's that because this is an interesting team with Atlanta doing what they just did. They put up funny enough, they put up the toughest fight against the Knicks out of anybody in the playoffs. Obviously Nickeil Alexander-Walker's our starting point guard, which I mean he had a great year last year. He had a career year last year for his career. And so, like, if you're gonna run with that, that's cool. Obviously, Jalen Johnson's the future of the team now, and that's perfectly fine. I think at Atlanta's pick is Brayton Berries because their shooting guard can't shoot. Dyson Daniels
Yes.
can't shoot at all. He's a great defender, but he can't shoot. So they have to get someone that can shoot. Granted, they have CJ McCollum, but CJ McCollum isn't guaranteed to be on the team next year. I
Mm-mm.
think they would have to get Brayden Berries in the situation.
Yes, and I agree with you because I am under the assumption that TJ McCollum doesn't stay. The Hawks have
Let
no
him come to the
incentive.
Pacers.
I mean, hey man, that would be a nice vet presence. Again, McCollum was showing flashes with the Hawks. I don't think he's totally washed yet. So
Yeah.
like, whoever gets him on a nice little vet minimum or maybe a little more of a vet minimum will definitely enjoy him. I think Braden Berries goes here because I'm with you as far as like they need a shooter, they need a CJ McCollum replacement. I do think Nikhil Alexander Walker has potential to play bigger. Like I wouldn't really lock him as a point guard. You'd probably be more of a combo guard. So then yeah, I'd rather have Braden Berries as my pure point guard. Put Walker at the 2. Put Jalen Johnson at the 3. There is one thing, because also too, this is a team that is also in desperate need of a center. Right now, they have Onyeka Okongwu at the 4.
Hmm.
He can play 5, but he's not a true 5. So this is probably the highest pick I could see a Daymar going.
Okay. Yeah, it's possible. I do think, and in Atlanta, since it's still a reach, I think they'd rather have a Kongu play the five than pick Mart at the pit center here. Because right now,
I
because how they went this year, a Kongu played the five because you figure they have Ricochet. Ricochet played the three. You had
mm,
Alexander Walker, Dyson Daniels, Ricochet, Jalen Johnson, a Kongu. I think they
yeah.
still would rather have a Kongu at the five than drive adding Mar right here at number 8. I think that's just too costly.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, but it's like, I mean, look, Okongu's a 6'10 guy. He is technically a center by trade, but probably would be better as a four. He has been improving his shot, which is
hmm
crucial,
hmm
and he is someone that could play interior. So it's like you would be kicking yourself if you see a bona fide scorer like Braden Burries there and you decide to take a Daymar over Braden Burries. But depending how the draft falls, I don't see a world where they're not in a spot where a Burries or a Kingston Flemings would be there and they
And I
take Mar over him. So it's like
I
it just
think those are
feels like
their
Burries right pick.
I think those are definitely the two options because also as you mentioned with Alexander Walker being a guy who could play, they could move and play the shooting guard. If they want to go that route, they could draft Kingston Flemings instead, just because he is more of a point guard and can pass the ball. If they want to move Alexander Walker to the shooting guard, because Brandon Burries, as much as he's a good shooter, again he only averaged 2 assists, so he's not really a point guard. But again, it could also work both ways. They could keep Alexander Walker at point guard and just get Burries, berries, and not worry about it.
I mean, Jalen Johnson was a very good facilitator last year.
Jalen Johnson was a good
So
everything last year, man.
yes. Yes. So it's like, again, not traditionally what a normal setting would do, but if you want Jalen Johnson to be a primary ball handler who he averaged 22 points, 10 boards, 7 assists. I mean, talk about doing everything. I mean, like,
Yeah,
you can get
and then
away with a Brain Berries at point guard.
with Nikhil Alexander Walker, he also averaged, let me, because that's 7 assists for Jalen Johnson. Nikhil Alexander Walker averaged just under 4 assists. So I mean, you're getting some ball movement with that. You don't have to get another pure ball handler. You can just get a shooter and be perfectly fine. So I mean, I do. It does look. Brandon Berries would be a good fit here if they do draft him, though. Does he become the starter over Dyson Daniels, or is he still the bench player?
I mean, unless Dyson Daniels has a epiphany of how to fix his jump shot, he's kind of destined to be the sixth man forever. Because I mean, I look at how Derek White struggled being like an important player on the Celtics, where he can do the catch and shoot and play fantastic defense. But when he was breaking his shots, he's a liability. You can't even say that about Dyson Daniels. He shot god awful from three, and it's so hard to have a defensive specialist as your starting guard day in and day out. Like, you can have him
Yeah.
off the bench. You can have him be there when you need a stop, when you need a rotational piece to give some guys some breathers. But unless Dyson Daniels turns it around, I mean, I can't see him being a starter. I'm sorry. No matter how good you are on defense, you just cannot be a starter being an offensive liability.
So now the last two picks to cover today. Going to Tyler's team, which is really sad he didn't show up because this is his team. This is a team he can really be talking about. The Dallas Mavericks are the number 9 pick, and I've heard a lot about Dallas wanting to move up. Obviously, Dallas wants to move up. Milwaukee wants to move up. LA could care less. They are fine moving down. But again, we're doing this no trades with Dallas at number 9. They have Kyrie coming back. They have Max Christie. They have Cooper Flag. ESPN has them drafting Nate Ament here. But is it possible that they go Adimar here? Because if I'm not wrong, who is the Dallas center at this point?
Derek Lively, which he's still solid, and then Musa Cisse's their backup. So it's like if you're not sold on Lively, which he's an athletic interior big,
Mm-hmm.
he's not. I don't think he's really that tall. He may be a 7 foot guy. Let me see here, because I think he may just he's 7'1". So yeah, he fits the
Okay.
mold of a center. he didn't play well last year. Like, that finals run was really where he was at his best. But hey, people just have a slump year. It's
All
he's
right.
still young in his career. So like, I don't think center is particularly a need for them.
They
But
also
I
have
mean,
Daniel
they
Gafford, apparently. I didn't know that, but they have Daniel Gafford as like a backup as well.
he they have he's a forward center. He could do both, which I mean, like I think they'd be fine with Gafford taking some center minutes too. So it's like
They have
I
Marvin
wouldn't be
Bagley,
jumping from.
Derek Lively, Marvin Bagley. Interesting.
Yeah, so like I mean, I think their forward situation is fine. Kingston Flemings is the last guard of this guard run, and I think they'll feel like they have to get Kingston Flemings here. And look, I know they have Klay Thompson. I know you have Kyrie Irving, but these are aging guards, man. And I don't
That's
think.
true.
And I know you like Nemhard, 'cause, he's a former Pacer, and I know he was
Well,
solid for
that's
that
that's just
finals
that's
run.
Nimrod's brother, so I don't gotta worry about
Oh,
that.
I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
that's
I didn't realize there's another Nemhard.
that sure
Um,
is Ryan Nimhard.
yeah, wow. I mean, there's a
You know
reason
how upset
why.
I'd be right now if we got rid of Andrew Nimhard to the if we got rid of the pick and we got Andrew Nimhard. I'm like, this team fucking sucks.
Yeah. And then Max Christie is your other guard there. So like you're praying that Kyrie Irving and Klay Thompson gives you healthy years at the ripe ages of 34 and 36 respectively. I look at Kingston Flemings here of like, look, you're getting a 16 point per game guy who can facilitate. He's efficient from the 3 point line and he can play some defense for you. I mean, he not ideal size, 6'2" with a 6'3" wingspan. I mean, like he'll give you handles, which he can learn a lot from Kyrie Irving. And I think
Yeah.
Kyrie Irving's at a point here where he's willing to mentor and teach players. So I feel like Kingston Flemings, albeit not at the same ceiling or floor as Kyrie Irving, but you can definitely learn a thing or two from him. And he's the last guard of this top 10 range that I just feel like he's the safe pick here, even if it's not ideal.
So you're not going. I did not know. I'm over here looking. Cooper Flag's birthday is the day after my birthday. Fuck. Um. Okay. So you're not in a fan of them drafting Nate Ament because again, that's what ESPN has them getting right here at this pick.
They have so many forwards. I mean, like, why would you want another forward? I mean, I know
The
he,
ESPN
he
said none of them are good enough. Basically, what they're saying, none of them are good enough.
I mean, look, they're looking at his height. He's a 6'9", 6'10" dude
Mm-hmm.
that, has the offensive capabilities of creating a shot. He can give you dimes, but I also look at his lack of efficiency, man. He doesn't even average 40% from the field. He shoots threes at a 33% clip. It's just like he just kind of feels like
And
your
not enough
poor
defense either, really.
man's. Yeah, like if he gave you a higher defensive ceiling, I would maybe consider a Met. But like Dallas is set on forwards, man, because it's like, again, you just have Cooper Flag as your future here. Gafford can play the forward. I like Najee Marshall. You have Caleb Martin. You have the ghosts of Chris Middleton still giving you minutes. Dwight Powell's also dude, and Marvin Bags. I mean, look, these are all dudes that give you minutes. And PJ Washington. We forgot about PJ Washington, who,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
at his peak will give you 20 something points. So I don't think they need a forward. And, I think while he maybe has the potential ceiling of a top 10 level guy, maybe in the right scenario could, but like, if I'm looking for immediate impact right now, Kingston Flemings would slot in nice in that high end rotation as a backup behind Kyrie Irving and Klay Thompson.
I can see that. I can see that. It's just, yeah, you're basically building off the of just so much age at your guards. But I feel like that's what they want to do with Ryan Nimhard and Max Christie, especially Max Christie. Maybe not so much with Ryan Nimhard. I think Ryan Nimhard was more of a surprise to them. I'm not saying he's great, but he has shown he can be a good player, and I think it was more of a surprise to him. I do think with Max Christie, they're definitely letting Max Christie learn a lot from Kyrie. He can shoot. He's definitely learning the ball handling a lot more. But it doesn't. I mean, they still need a second guard, because Cooper Flag's not going to play guard, so it doesn't hurt. And so that wraps it up with the Milwaukee Bucks, the number 10 pick. And I'm going into this Milwaukee Bucks no Giannis because the odds are they don't have Giannis at this point. So you're going into this. You're going into Milwaukee. Ryan Rollins, Jalen Brown, and Miles Turner, right? I think the person I think they have to pick here, I think they have because obviously they have ESPN has Nate Emmett going to the team by Mavericks. Okay, say the Mavericks don't even get him. I don't think the Bucks take him. I think the Bucks have to take Yaxel Lindenberg because he is a forward. They're losing a forward. They need a forward. Bobby Portis is old. He can score. He's a pacer killer. I can tell you that guy. I don't like facing him. He does foul with the Pacers. But they're gonna need a forward, and their only forward's gonna be Kyle Kuzma at the maybe. Uh,
Yeah.
so Yaxel Lindenberg just is a little bit. He's a better, honestly, better all around than Nate. He
Mm.
shoots better at 51%. His 3 points 37%, 7 rebounds, and he gets you a steal and a block. That's a little bit of everything. Obviously, nothing's replacing Giannis, but this dude's already in college. His college stats are already better than what Kyle Kuzma's doing out there. So like,
Mm.
and that gives at least another option with Jalen Brown out there, and another guy who obviously can play some defense too. Because Miles Turner, defensive player, he can play defense,
Mm.
but Lindenberg gonna have to get the rebounds.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I call this part of the draft the Michigan slide of doom because you have Lendenberg here, you have Morris Johnson, you have Ademar, who are all potential 10 to 15 guys. I think I'm with you with this Yaxel Lendenberg pick because, you're gonna want someone that's a better defender, someone that can give you boards. And of all the guys here, despite having a 7'3" Damar just sitting there, he's arguably the worst defender and board getter of all three of these guys. And again, he has he has like 6 inches over Morez, 7 inches over Lendenberg, approximately, so to speak. And he's arguably the worst defender and the worst board getter, which why it leads
That's
me to him
insane.
falling out of that top 10. Yeah, it's really crazy. I
That's
mean, like you have to question if a day Mara is even going to work out. Is he just going to be your next big bust? Even with him being a borderline mid first round pick, it's just like if he wasn't 7'3", he probably wouldn't be in this draft, if we're being
right.
honest.
You do two boards, two
He'd be a
boards. Like,
UFA. They have him at 6'8" boards. Lendenberg's at 6'8", and Morris Johnson's at 7'3". And again, Morris Johnson's 6'9", and Lendenberg's at 6'8". So if you want to talk about effort, having that dog in you, willing to put your body on the line to get something, you're looking at dudes that wouldn't even scratch a big lineup, but would give you more of what a big would be
yeah,
than a Daymara. So I do think Axel Lendenberg is your answer here because he is a stretch four that, could give you a five in a pinch, and you wouldn't be sacrificing that much, all things considered. I mean, like, I would say the worst part of his game would just be like, I don't know, what if he just doesn't develop a three, or what if his 3-point shot was overrated and he doesn't shoot as well from three? But, like, it's just like, I think you're just better off safer with Lendenberg than
yeah,
either Johnson or Mara here.
and over at Mint, just because a Mint doesn't have 3 point shot at all. He also doesn't
Yeah.
have it. And it's just one of those. It just give you another offensive weapon. You're not going to replace Giannis, but you have Ryan Rollins who can score. You have Jalen Brown who obviously show he can do everything. Miles Turner is your defensive guy. As much as anybody can, as much as people love to shit on Miles Turner. I go back and forth shitting on him and loving him. I was with him for 10 years. The loving him is he can play defense. That dude can play defense. It's
Yeah.
just when you're center 7 foot and getting 2 rebounds, you're like, what you doing out there, man? Like,
Yeah, I mean, and I'll give a shout to someone that's not a Michigan guy here, LeBaron Phelan out of Alabama. He was arguably one of the top guards coming out of this last year, but because he wasn't a freshman and developed more as a sophomore year, he's kind of slid down the board. I mean, I know you have Ryan Rollins. I know AJ Brown is likely going to be in the wings there. but neither of them sell me as a real point guard. While LeBaron Filing, that's gonna be hard for me to say. It's gonna take a lot of ways for that. He is someone that has facilitating ability. He's someone that can create a shot and shot nearly 40% from three. So like, if they're not sold on the forwards of the Michigan guys here, they could go for a point guard here and call it a day.
Yeah, I just think they have too many because you also have to think their guard room right now, even and if they add Jalen Brown, right? Their guard room is
Yeah,
going to be Ryan Rollins, Jalen Brown, AJ Brown, Kevin
AJ
Porter,
Green,
AJ
AJ Green.
Green, Kevin Porter, Gary Trent. And it's just a you don't really want to add another one into that. We already got a lot going on there. And
You know,
granted, man, with LeBaron Fion could be better than Porter, Trent, but then again, he's still then you're wasting a top 10 pick on a guy you're bringing off the bench. It's like okay,
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that drives it home for Filan for me is the fact that he can facilitate. Off the top of my head, I can't think of anyone on the Milwaukee Bucks that's like a true facilitator, even if they were to add Jalen Brown. Because trust me, he was not a facilitator
no,
on the
he's a scorer.
Celtics. So
Ryan
like,
Rollins, let's see, yeah, Ryan Rollins averaged 6 assists last year, right under 6 assists, 5.6. So like, it's
not
okay,
bad, not
right?
terrible. You
Definitely for
probably
a
want a deal more.
big year because I mean before that again he really wasn't he wouldn't have a big impact on any team. This was his third year in Milwaukee. Before that he played 12 games with Golden State, 10 games with Washington, 3 games. Then he had a 56 game and then he had his last year which was 74 games, which you got to finally see a full season with him. Which again,
Yeah.
having him Ryan Rawlings with Jalen Brown with Miles Turner with Lindenberg if they get that. I'm not saying that's a great Bobby Portis can. Bobby Portis out there. He can score. He old, but he can score.
Kevin Porter Jr. averaged 7 assists and 17 points. He only played half the season though, so it's
Kevin,
like, yeah, I don't
Kevin
think
Porter is so
Filan would
streaky.
fit. That's the
He's,
problem too, of
Kevin
course. And he
Porter
didn't even
is
play half the
so
year.
streaky.
So like, yeah,
When he's hot, he's nasty. But when he's cold, he's the worst player on the floor.
yeah, I mean that's definitely saying something, and like it's just one of those things where it's like, I do think they're gonna take one of the Michigan forwards here. I do think Filan's an outside chance. I do think he'd probably fit better on a Warriors if they don't want Mara. Which would be the pick after. But yeah, I mean, like it does feel like Lindenberg would be the pick there, no doubt.
So let's say it's the longest show we've had. Had to go over a lot of draft picks. I know we mentioned your team a lot, and definitely a lot with the Giannis trade. Is there somebody you're looking forward to for them to draft as with us being a Celtics fan?
I mean, look, I think at this because they're going to be very late in the draft. A lot of the top bigs are already going to be gone. We're kind of set at forwards, and unless if like there's really no guards that really swoon me here. The one guy I'm looking at, who's not even considered a projected first round pick, but I would like to see is this dude Henri Vassar from UNC, a 6'11 center, 7'2 wingspan. He averaged 17 points, 8 boards, and a block, a little over a block per game, with shooting capabilities. So he's kind of like a
Okay,
compact Kristaps to put to like like he's not as tall as Kristaps, but he has all the makings of a Kristaps. And I mean the centers, like if there was one problem with the Celtics team beyond the Jalen Brown Tatum problems that kind of rose, was the fact that in that Sixers series they choked that 3-1 lead because they had no way to handle Joel Embiid. And I'm not going to say that Vassar is going to be the answer, but when Nemanja Keita and Luka Garza got in foul trouble, and you were relying on Vooch, who we traded away Simons for Vooch, expecting him to be the veteran big, and he could barely, like, he ended up being unplayable. And then I mean, Amari Williams, who drafted in the second round last year, we didn't even really give him a chance. He could very well come up and be a solid center if he's given the opportunity, but I mean, it just kind of just feels like center is the obvious pick here. And I mean, looking at those stats, seeing that he's an international big and has the measurables of becoming a center with good shooting capabilities and some defense. I mean, that's everything Missoula could ask for. So I could see him or maybe a trade up. But I don't even know because if the Jalen Brown trade happens, we won't even have a pick to trade up. So like
Yeah,
there won't
that's
even
right,
be a
because you're gonna
pick
get rid of
there.
all of them.
So assuming Jalen Brown's on the team come draft time, then yeah, Henry Vassar at that 27 would probably be my personal pick.
I'm looking for Dybansta on the Pacers, man. That's what I'm looking for.
Oh
Number
yeah.
one pick. Well, pick.
Uh,
Yeah, it's so sad that the number 5 pick is the most intriguing pick this year, and it's our pick. Yeah, golly, it's just gonna hurt. I'm like, wow, look at that. Look at our.
just
Well, definitely if they trade it, I'm like, oh, look at our pick go. Wow, to another
well,
team.
I mean the worst part, right, is like it's so specific saying a top four protection. Like you couldn't say top five protection, top six protection. You're telling me that would have
It's
changed the
like,
calculus of
you're
that
like
Zubac's
top
trade, you
5.
know?
Any other team, because you normally see top 3 protected and then top 5 protected. Why did
Yeah.
we have to go for 4? What was the point of 4? Like that's just now that you said that, that's almost a setup. Like you knew we were gonna get number 5. Like you just
Yeah.
knew the moment it happened. Yeah, you're falling to 5.
Yeah, or if it was a top five protection, it was gonna be number six to the Clippers, because it's just like I don't know, because it's like
Top 3
the
protected, but number
Clippers.
4. Like okay, bro.
Yeah, I mean Pacers are kind of an unwinnable position. I feel like they've had chances to get high picks in the past, and they just never did. And I mean, it feels like the NBA is desperate to have the Clippers be successful, even with all the scandal.
Yep.
Um, 'cause again, it's LA. LA's LA. Even if you're the Lakers' little brother, they're gonna want the Clippers to be important.
They're like Indiana. Okay.
Ask
Okay.
Adam Silver where Indiana is on a map. He probably couldn't tell you.
Don't, don't do that to us,
He would say
man. We were
Eastern Conference. He would just say
hey we
Eastern Conference and be like, all
no
right.
don't do that to us, man. We on the finals. Game 7 finals. Come on now, man.
Oh, dude. Adam Sandler probably wouldn't even hand out the trophy if the Pacers won that finals. He would have just
he just
left. He would have left the
he
arena.
walks he walks up there. Congratulations. Like damn, bro.
Firm handshake, no smile, walk out.
Wow, guys, you're such a great team up here, guys.
Ugh. Just trying to hold back puke. He's like, oh, and the Pacers are oh yeah, NBA Finals champions.
He still somehow say Shy's name during it. Like, man,
Finals
y'all really,
MVP Shea
yeah,
on the losing team.
right? Like, oh, okay, bro, all right. Well, guys, that is gonna wrap up the Pull the Chair podcast of our pre-draft analysis. Stay tuned as Wednesday is draft night, and even if we don't have our own show, the Grit Network will be having a draft show, and your Pull the Chair podcast host should be on there. So at least some of us should be on there. I know Dylan mentioned being on there. I don't know what time the draft's at, but I should be able to be on there. So I'll pop in
8
at
p.m.
some point.
Eastern.
Oh,
So
then yeah,
yeah,
that'll be fine. I can sit and watch. Uh, so see, I want to see what Giannis goes, man. We got to get this over with,
oh
man.
god,
I gotta end it.
I was so sick to my stomach all day today at work. I don't want this trade to happen. As much as Giannis is good, I don't want to give up our future for Giannis. I don't care.
So definitely stay tuned to the Grid Network. There's a lot coming up with this NBA draft happening in 2 days. So stay tuned. We'll Pull the Trip podcast. We'll be here Monday night and Wednesday, 8 o'clock on the Grid Network. We'll have our full drive show. So stay tuned on the Grid Network for more coverage of this NBA draft.